guys, I'm here with Kaylin and Tanya of the Tuk Tuk Experience here in Belize. It's amazing. Make sure you guys check it out when you come here to Belize, you know. It's one of the #1 things to do. Had a great experience here.
That's what's up.
Yes.
We're very proud that we have a young, black, beautiful, intelligent entrepreneur.
Wow.
A woman, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, that came up with this fantastic idea to
Hey, young black entrepreneur.
to start this top company here in Belize, and already globally we're being recognized as one of the newest and coolest things to do here in the city. We
Right.
used to do this top tours, right? Yes, we know the traditional ways to just get in a taxi and go sightseeing. Well, that's a thing of the past. So when you come back, you can bring your entire family.
Right.
And then we have the tuk-tuk buses that can hold up to like 15 persons.
Oh, wow.
And we also have the pedal bar lounge that you can pedal through the streets of Belize City. In the nighttime, it's usually just lit up with all the party favors. We have a bar, we have a karaoke lounge on the pedal bar. So yeah, it's like super cool to where we're moving forward with Tuk Tour Company.
Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing.
So, sweetie, if I ask these guys a question about Belize, you can give them the answer, right? Let them try to figure it out for themselves.
I got the answer, don't worry.
You got the answer?
Yeah,
All
man.
right. When did Belize get its independence? If you don't know what it is.
When they got the independence in the 90s.
You just can't tell me in the 90s.
In the 90s. They got their independence in the 90s.
All right, I give you 50% for that.
It's during the year.
Oh my God. Okay, this is our Travelers Liquor Limited. You know that we do make our very own beer, and we make some of the best Caribbean rum on this part of the region.
Okay.
Of course, this is Travelers Limited. So if you guys want to, when we're coming back up, to maybe take a swing in there and maybe purchase one of the bottles. I mean, since this is the company, you can get it for much cheaper
Right.
than in the other places in the city. All right. So this is Travelers Rum Belize. And before I move off, if I may interest you guys in a game of bingo.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
This is the bingo tuk-tuk card, and we're gonna make this. See, I already gifted you each a souvenir already,
Yes.
but
yes.
I think I have other souvenir that maybe I can find another one that you can give to, like maybe your significant other or a family member.
Right.
So the idea of that, when we are doing the tour, we'll be covering the tour both on North and South side of the city, and so 90% of what is on this card we're expected to cover today.
Okay.
Some I will be pointing out to you, and some I will not point out to you. That's because I'm going to leave it out intentionally, just to see how engaged you guys are on the tour.
Okay.
All right.
Okay,
So at
got
the end
you.
of the tour, whosoever marks off the most, I'll find some little souvenir to give to you.
Oh,
at
thank
the
you.
end of the tour. All right.
All right.
So no sharing of answers, and you're not allowed to look over on her card. All right.
All right. You hear that, Daria? Don't cheat, man, because she know everything.
All right, so I don't know if
Don't cheat. Don't let them cheat. Okay?
I'll give you the first one, and that's Travelers Limited. So I don't know if it's on any of your card, but you can go ahead and mark off Travelers. And this is one of the largest furniture store that we have here. Kellen, our Mirab equivalent to which one of the store that America?
Oh.
Walmart
There's a
and
Walmart
which
of
other
Belize,
one?
guys.
Target, but then another grocery store.
More like department stores.
All right, so this will be equivalent to our Walmart.
Wow. There's a
Mirab
Walmart,
store.
guys.
Very extravagant, very expensive. I believe it's more for the middle class and the upper bracket income families here in Belize.
Right.
And that's because like the average Belizean person makes $5 Belize an hour. So it's definitely not for the poor. people here. All right, so Belize. We are on the one of the 4 major highways here in Belize.
Okay.
This is the Northern Highway, and it was recently renamed the Philip Golson Highway. And Philip Golson is also named after our international airport. All right. So we have Philip Golson after our international airport. He is one of Belize's unsung heroes. So this highway was renamed after him.
Wow.
So we have the Philip Golson Highway. We have the George Price Highway, and George Price is the former Prime Minister of our country, Belize. We have the Southern Highway and the Hummingbird Highway. So those are 4 major highways that we have throughout the country of Belize.
Right.
And this highway can take you all the way into the bordering country of Mexico. And
Really?
3 to 4 days of driving can take you into Texas.
Really?
Yeah,
From this highway?
from this highway.
Wow.
And so what most of our young Belizeans
Guys, that's so interesting. You gonna go to Texas from this highway?
Yes, you
What?
can. So what most of the guys do here in our country is that they go to Texas and they drive and they go and get these vehicles and they bring them down back in Belize to sell.
Oh, using the same highway?
Yes.
I tell you what, the more you know.
And that has been a very lucrative business here in our country. That they
Wow.
go to Texas, like maybe 2-3 of them, and they tow down 2-3 vehicles and bring them here to sell. And that's how
Wow.
Belize has had a lot of these vehicles that you see today here in the country.
Cars that just drive on this highway.
This highway right here, my friend.
Wait, call again?
The Philip Golson Highway.
Philip Golson, okay.
So here, Belize is bordered to the north of Mexico,
Yes.
the south and west by Guatemala, and east, of course, by the Caribbean Sea. So,
Oh.
despite the fact that Belize is surrounded by Spanish-speaking country, we are the only English-speaking country in Central America.
Right.
That's it. And this is our flour mill here in Belize. Belize actually used to grow our very own wheat that we produce the flour from for 90% of the country. But now it has been bought over by an American company. It was once owned by the Canadian before it was bought over by Mr. Miller, who is now the new owner of the flour mill. And most of our wheat to produce the flour is now international importing from the US of A.
Oh.
Again, this is one of the largest retail outlets that we have.
Courts.
Courts Belize,
Yes.
where you can come and get a beautiful furniture, and then you own for the rest of your life.
Yeah, we get in Guyana where I'm from, so I'm familiar with courts.
Yeah, you own for the rest of your life. But of course,
Them
it's
is
the
come
other
and take your
place
things.
where you can go to pay $1 down, and then you walk out with a brand new furniture, right?
That is it.
And they also have, house appliances. They have an optical service branch in there that you can get your frames for new glasses if you wanted to. That's about everything that you can think about when it comes to electronic household appliances and furniture. You can get at Port Belize.
Oh.
Alright, so now we're in front of our flag monument of Belize. Who can tell me one thing about our flag?
The Belize flag?
What can you tell me about our flag?
It look little like Asian.
Well, when it comes to these flag monument here,
Yes.
all these flags that you see are what makes up a part of the CARICOM.
That is
And
it.
Belize is a part of the CARICOM, so all those flags, with the Belize flag being the dominant flag in the center,
Yes.
is been flown inside this flag monument. Now our flag just makes all the different flags stand out, as our flag is the only of its kind that depicts human being on them.
Oh.
But
Yes.
all the other flags have
These
different
two-
color that makes them their flag. Our flag is distinguished by the human being that is depicted on them,
This in the old wide world?
and it represents the baymen from timber when they came into this part of the region when the British came. to harvest timber here. So the dark guy represents the slave that was brought over to harvest timber here in Belize, and the other guy is from Hispanic, which just happens to be the first inhabitants here in our country, Belize, which is of Maya descent.
Oh.
Now, in this part of Belize City, this is called the Freetown area.
Right.
And the reason it's called Freetown area is because in 1834, slavery was abolished here in our country. And it is in this area that is called Freetown that the free slaves were carried into their freedom. This is where free slaves were first allowed to buy houses, buy properties, and start their new way of living as free slaves here in Belize. However, we still did have a 4-year apprenticeship program that we had to wait for slavery to be fully abolished.
Right.
So around 1838 to be exact was when slavery was fully abolished here in this part of the region.
Oh.
On the left hand side is the technical vocational high school here in Belize. This is where children get a second chance at an education. This school has been made possible through funding that was left by Belize's greatest benefactor, Baron Bliss, and I will be telling you more about him a little bit later on in the tour.
Right.
So as opposed to state names, Belize has districts, and we have 6 different districts that makes up the population of over 450,000 Belize. So while this is the largest vocational school in the city, we do have other outlets that are in the districts that caters different trading. So anything from cosmetology to chef to mechanic to mason, plumbing. You think about all the different trades, and we offer them here at this technical vocational school.
Wow. Oh.
So in this entire area of Freetown is also where we can find the Mennonite people of our country. So of that 450,000 people that we have the 3 minor groups and the 3 major groups that makes up the population of our country. So the 3 minor groups that we have are the Chinese, the Mennonite, and the Indian merchants. And then the 3 larger groups are the Hispanic, the Creole, and the Garifuna tribe. All right?
Oh, okay.
So here in Belize, we do have the Mennonites who live in a gated community. They're the only one that are exempted from paying taxes here in our country. The reason being for that is because when they first came into our country, they were so agricultural inclined that the then British government welcomed them into our country, and under the provision that they could furnish the country with more than 90% of our poultry and dietary products, that they have been exempted from paying tax. So we do have the Mennonites that live in the gated community. They are well known for the poultry that they produce the country with, and also for the beautiful furnitures that you can see in most of these homes, Airbnb hotels, restaurants, church, and bars. So to give you an idea, this is what the furnitures look like that the Mennonites they produce here in the country of Belize. Every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday of the week, you can find this entire area designated for the Mennonites to come and to sell their furniture. So we would have people from all different over the country coming here in the city to purchase these furnitures.
Got
We
you.
also own outlets like these that they bring the chicken, the milk, and all those produce to, and it is from here that you come and you purchase them. And then they have opened the first drive-through restaurant here in Belize City. So they have been around from as early as 1975. And then we have the Chinese people that makes up for another minority of the population. And as we go through both north side and south side Belize City, you would see that we don't have any American franchise here. So no Kentucky mahogany industry, as this is the river that this mahogany had to drift down for days before it emptied out into the Caribbean Sea, in which these mahogany would have been fetched and placed on the European ship to take back into Europe. So we are officially now on Southside Belize, and here is where we would find most of the Indian merchant stores for the next 5 minutes. So all of these stores that you see here, 10% again. So 15 is locally owned by Belizean, while the other 85 to 90% is run by the Indian merchant. Here on the left hand side, the gold statue that you see is a replica of our Prime Minister, Sir George Price, and he replaces it was called Belize City.
Oh, it was. I didn't know that.
That the mosquito kings would have come from the Bay of Honduras. All right, so three of them was crowned here between 1812 to 1826, and we are proud to say that we have the second Belizean person. He is currently Mr. Philip Wright, and he is currently serving as the Archbishop of this cathedral. Now, two of the main highlight of this cathedral is the fact that all the furniture is 100% mahogany. So if you know the market value of mahogany and know how expensive it is, since we're here and it's open, we can just go in for a quick second.
Yes, I would love
to
that.
take a view of this cathedral. So the highlight is that it's 100% mahogany, the entire interior furniture, and the original organ that was placed inside this cathedral over 200 years ago still plays perfectly today. You would never believe that that organ was installed in this cathedral 200 years plus. All right, so we have an organist here in Belize that plays that organ during Sunday services, and yeah, this is pretty much where you can come and view.
Oh, sorry, I meant to cut you off. The mahogany wood, right? So you said it's mahogany wood. Okay. So how was the market value of the mahogany? Wow. So yeah, protected.
As a result of that, this flagpole that you see in front of us fell, hitting him on the head, and he later succumbed to his death. So here at the Supreme Court, we have, it is being run by a Chief Justice with 8 other High Justices of the court, and most of our judges here is either from CARICOM or from the Commonwealth countries, and likewise, our magistrates that we have here are able to go to those countries and serve within their high courts as well. So we still practice the British way of how the judges are dressed in the black gown and the white wig when they do their session inside the court. It doesn't matter what fire we tend to keep the colonial structure of the building, being that we were a British colony. Even though we were once a British colony, we are slowly moving away from the way our country was once governed, being under the British influence. And so what is it that we changed our name? We got our independence. We are a self-governed country. That this is one of the things I am waiting to see us moving away from, which is having them dress in those black gown and those white wigs. So everything is just a matter of time before it happens here in Belize.
Okay.
Just to say that, you know, they were here in Belize. And so this Belize sign was erected in 2014 by one of our local attorney, Mr. Pereira. And when he decided to incorporate this sign into a part of the development of our country, he was very strategic in how he wanted this Belize sign to represent. And so when it comes to the sign, he displayed or highlighted Belize's rich cultural heritage. So the B represents the Caribbean Sea that we are bordered to the east by. The E is of the small island with the largest being San Pedro Key. That's like considered the tourist. That's like considered the tourist capital out there in San Pedro. The L is of the national. L is of the national flower. These are some ponchos. The N is of the national flower of Belize, which is the black orchid. The L is of the lighthouse that is right in front of us. The Z is of the keelbill toucan, and that is our national bird of Belize. And the E, of course, is of the great tuna fish. And this is like considered like a prize fish when you go deep sea fishing here in Belize. And as you can see on the E sign, there's a sticker, right? There is a sticker, right? I don't know who put that sticker there, but that definitely represented that Tuk Tuk was here. The yellow, the orange sticker that is on the letter E.
Tuk was here.
Yeah, Tuk Tuk was definitely here. Oh, sorry, Kellen, sorry, baby. He had originally contracted polio at the age of 42, and as a result of that, he was confined to a wheelchair. So when he came into our waters in 1927 upon his private yacht, the Sea King, he fell in love with Belize just by sitting out here upon his private yacht. And later he started intermingling with the local Belizean fishermen that went out there. And he realized that not only was Belize a beautiful country, but had beautiful, friendly people. And so he had already started putting in motion that when he died, he wanted to wealth his entire riches to Belize, to the country of Belize. That didn't go down without a fight from his families as they heavily opposed. So the then government was in the court with his family, but we never objected to anything that was, we never objected to his family being compensated in some way, but the majority of his money was wealthed here to Belize, which was 1.8 million Honduran dollar at the time. That money has since been placed in a reserve fund purpose, and we have only been using the interest from that money since then. All right, so every year on the 9th of March, we celebrate the Baron Bliss holiday, which is a public and bank holiday in his honor. And the main focus of that holiday is the regatta boat race that we have annually for him. So the government decided what better way to honor our benefactor by burying him facing the Caribbean Sea that he fell in love with, and this is where his body was finally laid to rest inside the Block 2. He was very specific what he wanted his money to be used for. So in terms of further development of the country Belize and the vocational school that I showed you earlier in the first part of the tour, those were two of the main things that he wanted his money to be used for. And as you can see, Belize have done well in honoring him, in ensuring that we do exactly what we wanted his money to be used for. All right?
Oh,
So this is the
wait, he was British?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And so he has been named Belize's greatest benefactor to present. His face not to be removed from our currency. We were afraid that once the Queen Head would have been removed from our currency, that our dollar would have devaluated and become somewhat like the Jamaican dollar. We didn't want that for our country Belize. But for once, for once, the government is walking the walk and not just talking the talk. As so far, since the Queen's face has been removed from our dollar, the peg still remains 2 Belize dollar to 1 US dollar. So we're very grateful for that. That in fact, our dollar did not devalue.
Yes. Top dollars. You hear that, Guatemala? Top dollars. You can't come and run things over here. That is it.
Like I said, we're slowly moving away. We have become an independent country, and we're slowly moving away from how the British, influence have been over our country Belize. Now on the left-hand side, we have the Golden Bay Hotel and wholesale and retail shopping center. So if you wanted to get any kind of souvenirs here in Belize, this is one of the largest retail stores, and they have the most affordable prices that you can get souvenirs for your entire family back wherever you're from.